George Soros, why don't you die?
In a video game.
I know that you're a vampire, and that's the reason why.
Macy Grey, I'm calling you out. You're supposed to be some famous pop star or something. Listen to me, Macy Grey. My grandparents fought for the red, white, and blue. You will never, and I say
Jesus Christ.
never change the colors of
He went
our
soft A and then
flag
hard R in his
my
nevers.
grandparents fought for in World War II. And I mean never. That's the last straw, you liberals. You will never take our colors away. Millions of people have fought and died for those colors. And you're going to come in and try to change some peachy, friggin' whatever neutral colors? Hell, motherfucking no.
This guy
The
owns.
red, white, and blue stays forever. We will have a huge motherfucking civil war over that bullshit. And all you trolls
I try to suck a dick and I choke.
Trolls.
I try to swallow
The red,
cum
white, and
and
blue
I
is
throw
here
up.
to stay for the rest of your lives. If you don't like it, move to China, move to Australia, move to New Zealand, move to Russia. I don't
Wouldn't
give
that
a
be cool?
fuck.
Australia?
But you're
That's
not taking away my
kind of a
fucking
lateral
American
move.
flag. I will fucking fight and anybody over that fucking flag. I am pissed off. I'm a Christian, but you ain't gonna take my flag
Headstrong
away,
will take
boys and
you
girls
on.
out there. And I'm calling you boys and girls because your mentality is little trolls as boys and girls. Macy Grey, I never heard of you until today. You must be pretty sad because you cannot make headlines unless you threaten some bullshit like taking away
headlines.
our colors or our flag. I'll bet my life on it. I'll bet you anything you want. Any of you trolls, Macy Grey will never take
The
away
flag's
our colors.
important
American
because
flag, red,
my
white, and blue.
grandparents
Patriots,
fought in
stand
World
up.
War II.
Everybody out there, stand up. Do not, all my
All
patriots,
four
do
of
not
them.
allow Macy Grey to take this flag away. This is our flag, not hers. She don't like it, she can jump off a fucking cliff. God bless you, Patriots. Macy Grey, if you see this, fuck you, Macy Grey. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Fuck you and quit fucking with our flag. I've had it. Fuck you, liberals. Fuck you, Macy Grey. We're keeping the red, white, and blue forever, so suck it. Patriot Party Podcast. Never give up. Never give in. Never surrender.
This
Fuck
guy's
you
a
all.
podcast?
Trolls, that is.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
you,
a
Patriots.
podcast, I guess. He's like a QAnon
Oh, yeah.
influencer that even they are like,
Hopefully you all
you're just making shit up, man.
Check it out. Like, subscribe, and please share these videos. Please subscribe to this backup channel. I want everybody on my main channel to come here.
Is this from him too?
Yeah.
You dominate the constant news. They cheer and thank their gods for you. But we know it's all
This sounds like it was made by Stage Wanderer.
Yeah, I think it's
the
same melody. Oh yeah, he was trying to do Jolene.
Particles in hydrogel steal your sense of taste and smell.
What he's up to.
666, you're straight from hell. Vaccine. Vaccine. They're begging me.
That guy's playing a box and you can't even hear it.
Yeah.
Vaccine. Keep your spike protein and kiss
This is better than
my
Woodstock.
You don't bend the truth, you flat out lie. More than a little ferrets died. You're the century's thalidomide vaccine. You're so smug and arrogant. I, for one, will not consent to your sick experiment vaccine. I refuse to leave my fate. Psychopaths, Fauci and Gates. Screw you and your damn mandates vaccine. If arteries first do no harm, I'm not gonna buy the farm. No way you're going in my arm. Vaccine. Here we go. Vaccine. They're begging me to take you, but I'll pass. Vaccine. Keep your spike protein and kiss my ass.
She's singing along to her own backing track with her as the backing vocals. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My
Alright, now this is just dirty. This is disgusting.
Dude, I've been retaining trying not to come for weeks, and this is about to ruin me.
Well, there goes another 2 weeks.
How about it for Karen Staley?
Alright, so this is Sage Wanderer now. He kind of looks
Sage
like...
Wanderer here, and I thought I would make
He looks
quick
like a
video.
reconstruction of a Roman
I haven't made a
emperor.
video in a while.
Yeah,
a good while.
there's kind of a Dan Quinn vibe
I
to
won't
him
get into
here.
all that, but I just been working on me.
Didn't he
As
used
you
to have
see,
a beard?
I've been working on me. I'm in the best shape of my life. One of the reasons that I took my shirt off here so you could see what good shape I'm in, but also so that you could see that I don't have a mark on me, even though last night I fought off an attacker.
So this man is like an infamous liar.
8-minute
he
ground
loves
fight,
to lie.
essentially, with a mixed martial artist who was
He's had
drunk
like
and sexually
19-minute
assaulting
long
women
stories
in the
about
bar
meeting
that I was in
Sasquatches with his
singing,
dad,
and he targeted me.
So there was an MMA guy at the bar raping women, and he was the only one who could stand up to him, and that's why 8 guys beat his ass.
And that's why I started singing karaoke to begin with.
You get a lot of like
anti-Antifa
videos.
The channel wasn't making me any money. I was about to have to get a day job, and I needed to.
What are you talking about? You get like 2 views per video. What are you talking about?
I saw several people sing. I approached several people about starting a band with varied interests. You know, people from no, I'm not interested to, to yeah, maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure I can, and so ultimately, I passed on a bunch of people before I decided.
It does
on
look like Jeremy
female
Renner, Neo
vocalist that I'm
Pilgrim.
actually beginning to work with right now. And so we'll see. After last night, I don't know. She gave me a look like she was disappointed in me that I would. He
was big into the Antifa super soldiers thing. November 4th.
And you men don't get to put their hands on me. You don't get to touch me. And when I tell you stop touching me, you better stop touching me. And so I've watched this guy sexually
What an incredible made-up story, Jesus.
2 of them that I knew of. After the fight, I got
this is just so not true.
In the bar that
this is an MMA fighter.
3 women and a man before he got around to me. And when a man comes up behind you, and I guess I'll tell the whole story. He was singing karaoke when he decided to. He was drunk and aggressive. And
Police actually said that he was the most deadly criminal of all time. But I single-handedly took him out with 1 punch.
And this guy wrapped me up.
Yeah, when the cops showed up, they're like, "This is a former Golden Gloves champion."
And so I just gave him one of these things and wrapped up both his arms and said, "Stop touching me. You don't have permission to touch me."
Dude, you just killed Conor McGregor.
While still singing about touching me, and he chased me around the table trying to freaking grope me.
Oh, dude, he beat up Aaron Jackson.
He chased you around the table? This is such a stupid story.
I kept telling him, I'm going to break your arm off if you touch me.
This guy was on stage, and he was singing,
and I'm sorry, I won't name the bar.
I'm tearing up your cunt when I'm with you.
An MMA guy was chasing you around in circles, trying to touch your butt?
This man should have been ejected. I shouldn't have had to deal with him. Right after he assaulted me in the bar in front of everybody, I shouldn't have had to deal with him. He should have been ejected. But this guy came between us and told us to go our separate ways. But he wouldn't stop the guy from chasing me around the bar.
All right, there's only 35 minutes left in the story.
Why wouldn't you leave the bar if someone's chasing you?
The DJ, who is a cop, right? He's a friend of mine, and he's running the not the DJ, but the karaoke.
And he had forgot his gun that day.
And so I ran up on the stage with him. This guy comes up on the stage after me, just trying to touch me, just trying to grope me, okay? I mean, I look good.
Is he talking about himself now or the woman?
Yeah, get a boyfriend, get a girlfriend, but leave me the hell alone,
So he's talking about himself
and
here.
So I called him out on it. I said, you're manhandling me. You're acting like a rapist. What is your problem? And that got even
No one can resist touching this guy.
And then even after I told him, look, man, I'm a surviving rape victim. I have been grabbed from behind like that. Knocked silly, shoved into the bed, face first into a bed.
Jesus Christ!
From behind. So you understand, you can't go around grabbing men from behind.
What are you talking about?
They don't know you, and you didn't come around from the front of me. You just attacked me from behind. And even
I think we have to work on the presumption that all of this is made up, Chad.
I don't believe anything he says.
Yeah.
Ever.
Calling me a coward, and I'm like, I'm leaving. And he's like, fine, walk away, pussy, walk away, coward. Excuse my French, right? It's it was a bar. Bar things were happening. And so I went to leave, but then I heard him trying to get permission to follow me down the stairs and beat my ass.
He has a
gotta
video.
find some of his-
He's like,
He
"Well,
has
I
a
get
video
kicked out of
about
the
how
bar,
he was
banned from the
buried
bar if I
alive.
go down to the parking lot and fight him." And this bouncer tells him, "Nope, whatever happens on the street, happens on the street. That's not nothing to do with us."
He loves
and then this
lying.
Big guy, because I'm 53, and yes, I'm an exceptional 53. People, I'm sorry. I wish you could see all that's going on with me, but I'm 178 pounds of lean muscle. I got,
Yep.
I've got
You can see the striations
I
on
got
his
pecs that
pecs.
dance. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they're dancing all right.
Yeah, I just saw some
He thought he was gonna
serious
push this,
jiggle there.
sexy old man around and bully.
Yeah,
him.
people
I
are
don't
just
do bullies.
lining
People
up
know I
down
don't
the
do
block
bullies,
to fuck this
right?
guy.
If you know anything about me, I don't do bullies. I don't tolerate a bully. At first, I thought I might have lost my bar and my friends and my karaoke opportunity, but after talking to people, everyone was glad to see someone finally stand up to this guy. Which
I
is
almost
usually the
lost
case
my
with a bully.
karaoke opportunity.
And and my friend the cop went, "Look, man, I'm impressed with you, and because my friend the cop's what, 10 years younger than me, and
My friend the
a
cop.
professional gunman fighter person, right? Now he had a torn shoulder, so he just stayed out of it, right? I would
Jesus
too. He has a
Christ.
he just
Yeah,
had
of
surgery.
course, the cop couldn't do anything, so I had to fend for myself.
Everyone pretty much.
I'm a
sided with
master
me
of a thing
as
called
far as I
gun
can tell.
kata.
I don't know how in he
That
is
was
with
no
the
issue for me.
but I've been told I'm welcome back in the bar, and I did take it outside.
So
But when
you're
I went
actually
down
king
stairs,
of the
he came
bar
down the
because
stairs
of how
after me.
cool you are.
We squared off. Right
They
in
gave
front
him
of
the
front of
key to
bar,
it.
and I told him, "Look, I'm just done with
A
you."
little satchel.
They said I
And,
could drink here free
and
for
He
life.
put his dukes up and made a move towards me, and I snap kicked him real quick in the knee. Just not trying to take his knee out, just letting him know, "Look, I know how to fight. You're not going to just bully me." And I tapped him in the knee, and he steps back, and he either said, "Wow, that was fast," or he said, "That was some fancy shit." One of the two. I can't remember. Once again, excuse my.
That was some fancy shit.
On my language here. I don't usually use bad language. And I went after this guy who had 40 pounds on me. He's 40 pounds heavier at least. I think he was 220. I'm 178. So that's 40 pounds.
He's actually
He
the
had 40
strongest
pounds
guy
on
of
me.
all
I'm
time.
6'1". I figure he's 6'2".
If he's a famous
6'3",
MMA
so he's
fighter, you
taller
could
than
probably
me, he's
find
got
his
more reach.
stats.
I shouldn't have fought this guy. And in the irony of all this, he came in drunk and acting like a bozo. And but anyway, I told the
This guy was
girl I
acting like a
sitting with, I
bozo
said,
and tried to
of all the
rape
guys
me.
in this bar tonight, I wouldn't want to fight that guy. That guy's, he's built like a brawler. And I said, "See how his shoulders and chest are? That's a guy."
Randy
that's trained
Couture
to
is
fight.
actually
When
at the
it
bar as
affects your
well,
body,
but he
look
just
at
got done a
my-
knee surgery,
that's
so
a
he
body
can
that's trained to fight.
intervene on
My
there.
chest is ridiculously big, and it's not fat.
Yeah.
It's muscle, and it comes
Oh, yeah, I
from
could
shoving
tell.
people and pulling people and shoving people around. Your back gets muscled up the same way. And
How
it takes
often are
one to
you
know one.
shoving
So when
people
I look at another
around?
guy and I see how he's built,
That is like
I'm
an
trained to
actual
fight.
exercise
Nobody
for
body,
you.
And so I told my friend I was with, I'm like, that's the one guy I wouldn't want to fight. And then I ended up on the ground with this guy before the night was over. So anyway, I tag him in the knee. He makes a comment. I tell him I'm about to F him up, right? And then I don't know if he made a run at me or he made a swing at me, but I feel like I stumbled over my own feet. Now, my female friend was out there, and she played a role in this before the story's over.
She actually had sex with
she
me
was out
after
there,
it because
and
she
I
was so
haven't talked to her yet
impressed.
this morning. She's
My
busy
pants fell off, and she said I had the biggest penis she'd ever seen.
How I ended up on the ground, because it's fuzzy. I don't remember how I ended up on the ground. And I think, like I said, I sidestepped an attack and I tangled up in my own feet or my bad knee.
That's a weird coincidence that you don't remember any of this
Either
part.
way, I went down.
Yeah.
I come back up. And when I tried to come back up, my right leg buckled. And what had happened is when I fell, I went down too hard on my butt, and I had this big middle-aged man wallet this thick, which the wallet... Hey, I learned some stuff last night.
Sage is
Never
a
gonna wear
modern
a watch again in my
storyteller,
whole life ever.
specializing
I'm
in
done with
mythology,
watches. I'm gonna give away all my
crypto,
watches
ancient
because they're a handle and
civilizations,
they give
secret
somebody something to grab
societies,
onto. And my
demonology,
left hand
the
was being tended
paranormal,
by
and
this guy
epic
for
true
most of that
stories
fight
from his
because he had a hole in
interesting
so I'm
past.
done with watches.
With a splash of
And,
news
and
commentary and
also
current
the big
events,
giant
Sage is
wallet in
broadcasting
my
weekly from his
rear
tiny
end.
off-grid
Because
cabin
when I
in the
fell,
Oklahoma
I
woods.
hit on the wallet. It drove that wallet into my sciatic nerve, and I was paralyzed in my right leg. Not paralyzed. I could utilize my leg. I just couldn't put any weight on it until I walked it out. Had to walk it out after the fight, and then I could finally put some weight on
You
it.
got paralyzed
But
by
that
falling
happened.
onto your
Remember, I
wallet
ended up on the
in your
ground. I got
pants.
injured by my own wallet, which was full of money. So maybe no, it wasn't really full of money. It's full of like receipts and credit cards. No, not credit cards, but like old gift cards and junk and people's phone numbers. And I just Smaller wallet, no watch. That's one of the big lessons I learned. It really is.
All
It's
right,
just what the
enough.
law will allow.
Here, time for a real fight
Sage
story.
Wanderer here, and welcome to my van down by the river. So for those of you that enjoyed my 3-part series, The Time I Did Battle with a Witch, you might like this one. This is the time I
It took
did
place
battle
in
with a
divorce court.
warlock. Don't. Now, many
She
of
took
you
my
may know
boat.
that I used to be a pastor, an associate pastor. Technically, I was the youth pastor, but I was regional youth director in a denomination, and I was youth pastor.
Okay, it's
at
not
the,
good when you used to be a
flagship
youth
church.
pastor.
And I was on staff.
Because
and
what
so If
happened?
you came down during the week, most of the church leadership would be not present. In fact, most of the time it was pretty much just me and the church secretary. This family came in, the man came in, and the family stayed out in the van. And they were all living in this van. And everything's paid for, because I thought he was like, I just need money for truck driving school. He's like, no, my tuition's paid. I just needed 30 days of a place to live. I just got kicked out of my apartment 30 days too late, or too soon. If I'd had 30 more days, I could have made it. And I said, so are you guys eating? Are you healthy?
Don't let him stay with you if he's a
And
warlock.
he's like, well, we haven't had anything much to eat today. We had dinner last night.
You know
but we
the kind
haven't
of
had
stuff they
anything
get up
today."
to.
By then it was like 1 or 2. And I
Well,
said,
they can
well,
fight
first things
and
first.
use magic. That's
So
very
our
scary.
church was just happened to be in temporary quarters.
Well, he
in
won
the old
against a
JC
genuine
Penney's.
MMA fighter.
And right
So
next door was a Chinese
Who's
restaurant.
6'1", 220.
A buffet. And I knew.
I'll
'cause
bet
I
on
ate
him
there
against
pretty regular.
anybody.
I think they were responsible for me putting some
natural
extra
or
pounds.
supernatural.
But anyway, I took them over there and I paid for their lunch, and I said, let me get permission and let me talk to the bishop and the treasurer, and maybe I can lay hands on some money and help you guys out. So we put them up in a hotel room for a month. About a year later, they show back up. And now they're in an almost brand new car. They moved out of that apartment.
Oh,
They got
no,
their own
welfare
house.
queens.
The kids got a backyard. And they said, you know what? We just wanted to come and tell you guys how much we appreciate you and how much we thank you for helping us.
They bought
And
a
we
house
realized that we need
within
to get
a year
involved in church, and we'd like to get involved in
of
your
being
church,
homeless?
because we know that true religion is helping people, and you helped us, and you made no demands of us. You didn't drive us crazy and follow up and try to force us to come to church or manipulate us. You just helped us. And so we had a new family in our church. But after about the 3rd or 4th visit, they came up to me after church and asked for prayer. And they said, okay, here's what you don't know about us.
When does
and
the
it's so
Warlock
weird that
come
we're
in?
in church, but we both
It must
come
be this
from
family.
families that are steeped in the occult and witchcraft.
Let's
And
go.
the girl, the wife, had a little sister. And the little sister had come to blows with the parents and moved in with their older brother. Their older brother happened to be a very powerful warlock with about, I think they said 35 or something.
Well, there's one
witches
in every
his coven.
family.
And that he was extremely powerful, and he was seducing her into witchcraft. And they thought that she was about on the verge of possession, because she'd been, ever
Lisa
since she moved
Sage,
in there,
you're the
she'd been
strongest
getting
man I
visited in the
know.
night by a succubus spirit that was
I need
trying
you to go sing
sexually attack
karaoke
her in the
at him.
night. And she would wake up with the feeling that something was laying on her chest. And I guess I should do a video on this nighttime paralysis, demonic oppression thing. But she was having this. And
He had sleep
so I thought I would
paralysis.
take a page
It was a demon.
from remote ministry, we'll call it that. A page from the book of Acts. And I thought I would anoint a prayer cloth. I knew many exorcists and many other people dealing in spiritual warfare had used the prayer cloth.
Man,
not
I want
just
this
for
guy and Mead
healing,
to meet.
but also for spiritual
'Cause
protection.
I think Mead would hate his
Especially
guts.
protection for children. So we did a very specific prayer. We anointed one of my own handkerchiefs. I had a brand new fresh handkerchief in my pocket. I took it out. We anointed it.
He's not classy
with oil,
enough.
And we said this powerful prayer over it, and I sent it to protect this young girl that I didn't even know or never met.
If he dressed like Colonel Sanders,
It
though,
was
Mead
kinda
would love
risky.
him.
It was a little risky. It was a weird approach, but I didn't see how else I could.
So far, his
affect
way
some
that he's
physical
battled a
connection
warlock is he gave a
that I know
woman a
it's more powerful
handkerchief.
spiritually if you can do some kind of physical connection. If you can't be there to lay hands on them, then you touch something then they touch it, and it's a transfer. And many of you may disagree with this. I think it's just because you don't understand some of the basics of spiritual warfare and healing, and there's some mechanical some mechanical rules that apply to this stuff. And if you do it right, it's more powerful. And you can affect somebody in a more powerful way than just saying a prayer. You can give a physical connection to it. And I
don't think that's church doctrine.
I assigned angels to
My kitty
deliver
litter
it.
showed up. Let's go.
So they're going to stay there and watch over her.
Finally, you can shit. You've been holding it in all day.
If you want more information on that technique, you can find it out there. It's not super common, but it's the one I chose at the time. It seemed like a viable option. I didn't think anything more about it. Tuesday rolled around after that Sunday, the following Tuesday, and it was time for our staff meeting. This was the one time a week.
Me and all the
got
angels.
our feet put to the fire, and we had to go into the main bishop's office and account for all of our work for the week. So he kept our goals. We set goals at the end of the week. You know, on that Tuesday, he would look at the previous week and say, "Did you meet this goal? Did you accomplish what you were trying to do?" And it was just a matter of keeping us all.
The meeting was organized by God
because we were all on salary.
The big guy,
salary
the boss.
staff meeting day. I hate that day. It still strikes fear in my heart. Don't. As a procrastinator,
What happens?
awful. And a voice came into my head, and it said this.
Your thoughts?
You ready for this? Never give your personal property to a witch. I repeat, never under any circumstances, no matter what you think you're doing, give your personal property to a witch. Because they can use the same thing I was talking about, that connective power, to reverse it and use that to connect to you personally. You see, I was suddenly brought to memory.
So he gave a woman
I
a
grew up
used handkerchief to give to a warlock.
The old Marine was
Then the
also
warlock
a very
used the handkerchief to put a
successful,
curse on him remotely.
and he always told
Using
my
his
mother,
boogers.
when you go buy prayer cloths, because we use prayer cloths for healing, we used them for deliverance of all different things.
For
Who is
covenant.
we? I don't know about
addictions.
prayer cloths.
And, we use that physical connectivity to create a bridge, a spiritual bridge, that makes it's almost like a magnifying glass or a conduit.
It's so full of shit.
So I immediately was given the cure for this miscalculation. And it goes like this. I just said to the universe.
You have to get the handkerchief back and then nut in
I
it.
hereby donate that handkerchief that I anointed with oil, my personal handkerchief, I hereby donate it to my church. And I named the church and the address. And I hereby release all ownership to it. And that is now the property of blah, blah, blah church. I'm driving home. I'm doing this. The moment I speak those words,
Donated a used handkerchief to your
just
church?
like that, ringing in the ear stops, vision clears up, dizziness has gone away, hot sweats quit. I crack
So you
open
didn't
the
even get to
window,
meet
get
the
a
warlock?
breath of fresh air. That tar.
Even in
cover
his
just
fake
peels
story,
right
it's
off,
someone telling
and
him
I
about
feel
a
like
warlock.
$1,000,000 again, and I whip a Yui and turn around and go right back to work.
This
I
is
am
a
not a brawler,
different fighting story.
but I am an avid practitioner of self-defense disciplines, and I won't get into the different levels of fighting I have achieved in different arts. I will just say this: if you don't have a black belt, at least, you shouldn't tangle with me. You just shouldn't. It wouldn't be in your best interest.
Man, he's cool.
Now, having said that, I guess I'm intimidating enough in an actual altercation that I can't get anyone to fight me. That I've only been in a few fights because I can't get anybody to take a swing at me.
Really?
And when they do,
Well, you just
if
look
they
so
do,
tough.
It seems
they're
like it
usually
happens
some
to you a
pitiful,
lot.
Poor little skinny person that if I beat
Well,
up,
they
I would
just
look
curse
like an
him.
absolute ogre, an absolute bully. And if there's one thing I never want to be perceived as, it's a bully. So
One thing you want to
I've
avoid
just, avoided
is
most
if
fights by
if you're in a fight with
wanting to be in
someone,
the fight really bad.
you want to take your
Come on,
handkerchief
let's go.
and give it to one of your
The,
friends, because
the
if
sheer
if your
exuberance
opponent takes one
I
of your
face when
handkerchiefs
someone is
and then gives it to a
threatening me
warlock he
scares the
knows,
crud out of 'em, because
they could
most
put a
people
curse
that
on you
threaten
without you even knowing
are
about
actually
it.
kind of insecure and afraid, and they want to intimidate you and put fear in your heart, so maybe they don't have to fight you. So they threaten and they yell and they tell you what they're going to do to you. And when that happens, I just start talking about their mother. I'm sorry, the preacher in me just takes a vacation. And I just, Yeah, I'm the king of smack talk. How articulate am I on my channel? And you guys watch me because I'm articulate and well-spoken. Well, when I trash talk, I'm articulate.
That's
and
why we
well-spoken,
watch you.
And most of it revolves around your mother. But I've never been able to get anybody to take me up on it, because as mad as they get, when they act like they're going to go into some kind of fighting stance or take a swing at me, I turn into some weird combination of a snake and an orangutan. And I start to move in a way that most people, unless they're a highly seasoned fighter,
I'm listening.
They look at it and go, okay,
well,
that's
even if
real.
they are a highly
That's not
seasoned
fake.
fighter,
That's
apparently.
not bathroom food.
It's so Dan Quinn, but Dan Quinn was an actual fighter.
Mixture of martial arts, my footwork. I don't even have to move my hands or act aggressively or move towards you. I can just fall into a fighting stance and
he
start
doesn't
to
demonstrate
move around.
anything.
And I'm not sure if people just think I'm crazy and dangerous, or people look at me and go,
I think you're crazy, not really dangerous.
I never can get anybody to actually take me up on it. And so it's a combination of how I move.
He only talks about fights he has. Like, no one's ever seen him fight.
That I just like suddenly.
Dude, he doesn't even have
videos of him doing the moves.
Calling me a little man. Hang on,
he has a second 35-minute video about his fight.
They make the mistake of referring to me as a little man on my channel, and maybe it's because I'm in the van. I don't know why they think I'm small, but for the record, I'm 6'1", and I weigh. I've lost some weight now, so I'm guessing I don't weigh that often. But I figure right now I'm about 225 or 230 pounds, about 230 pounds, and 6'1". And I used to haul gear on the road. Gear, I mean speakers and amplifiers and racks of equipment. One band I was in, we traveled with a bobtail truck, and we didn't have any roadies.
What band? Oh, yes. When my grand... Right?
Extended cut.
This is so dope.
No, because I mean, I could have just, curb stomped him. I could have, Joe Pesci'd him while he was down
Yeah,
there.
I'm sure you could
But I
have.
let him get up and grab his hat.
If my friends weren't here, I could have killed you.
But anyway, didn't mean to
Somebody
make this
hold
story
me
time.
back.
But my point being is that your method of opportunity, your point of opportunity to utilize this martial art is most at its prime when they're trying to touch you.
Your method of opportunity to utilize this martial art at your
You might end
prime.
up with a broken finger. You might end up being struck in the face or head. It just depends on the situation, what you're trying to do to me, and my perception of you as a threat. And it's all going to happen like right here. One of my greatest compliments that was ever paid to me concerning this particular series is that a guy who I can tell by the way he talks knows fighting. And I pinned it on one of the
He talks like you.
And he said,
The pimp, thanks
this
to the
guy may
left.
not look like Rambo or Schwarzenegger, but trust me, look how his elbows are pinned in tight next to him.
Does he think Rambo is the name of the
Take
actor?
you apart piece by piece. And he's right. He's right. He was smart to recognize that. Most people
Like Rambo
look at
Stallone.
me and that's not what they see. And I'll use that to my advantage. I was almost.
That's also
mugged
true, Manifold.
in
Varg does
Denver.
only act in
And
self-defense.
I won't tell the whole story. But when I put my hands up like this, and I started bouncing around like this from foot to foot, and changing my position and saying, look, I don't want any trouble. Look, can't we just get along? Look, I don't want any trouble. Can't we just get along? When I started doing that, he dropped his hands, looked down
Hands
at
off
me.
my
looked
purse.
at
This is my
feet,
pot
and went,
pie.
oh, no, F this. And he just took off running. Because he knew he was dealing with somebody who was not their first rodeo and who had some skills, and he was hoping to just push an old lame man over and take his wallet.
Yeah, I don't know
He wasn't
about
expecting to
that.
fight.
I think he just thought you were like insane
Footwork
or
is the
senile.
foundation. We're gonna go back and cover more of that.
If any of this
But I wanna
happened at
talk
all,
about the
I don't think
ranges.
he goes out.
So
I don't think he goes to the bar.
grappling.
Yeah.
That's the clinch range. That happens when we're
He says he's out in the middle of nowhere.
right here. In this range, my weapons are the palms of
He
my
lives in a
hands,
van. Like,
right?
why are you getting into
Ends of
fights
my
with people?
fingers, because I can take your. I
Looks
tell
like he's
you, I-
moved into a house
Here.
now.
Here, you're trying to hit hard, follow through, explode.
This
I
is
guess
like the
so.
most
And you're
up
gonna
close
have to have the
fucking
muscles to
fighting
back that
video
up.
I've ever
Many
seen.
of the muscles you need
You can only
are
see from,
atrophied
like,
on
the
you
neck
or have
up.
never been developed. Okay, to be able to throw muscles to back that up.
Look at this big, strong man. This is all muscle. Look how he moves.
Or atrophied on you, or have never.
All muscle right there.
That's a good pause.
It is.
It looks like someone with the old filter on.
This video is from March.
Never been developed. Okay.
So
to be able to throw an elbow like you need to throw it. And this is also
it's not like this is an old one pre-weight loss.
So we're going to start with the stretch.
Some weight loss,
like
clearly,
this.
but
Like step back a little bit. And a lot of this comes from your obliques. You're going to be able to start getting those ripped muscles along your rib cage.
He's pointing at his lats.
If you do this enough.
Lats and serratus
because
anterior.
I'm a perfect physical specimen and I'm extremely young.
He likes his pepper.
I'm not going to take my shirt off and show you because I also have some
You think you know better than him?
It's a good sound drop.
How many MMA fighters have you single-handedly destroyed?
Once again,
true.
I kind of get adrenaline pumped up when I do these videos. You know, I feel good. Yeah. People that run, they just run to get that that download of adrenaline and what is it?
Download.
What's the name of it? Okay, now we're gonna add this.
He just punched himself.
Last thing I'm gonna show you in this video. Back to, all right, whip it. Whip it. Okay, now we're gonna add to this combination. The last thing I'm gonna show you in this video. About to be over. You're about to be able to sit down, have some Gatorade, and kick back for a minute. All right.
He's not just a warrior. He's also a bit of a poet.
It sounds really good.
Oh, Antifa, where did you go? We were ready on November 4, Antifa. Where have you been?
Yeah, they pussied out. They were so afraid of all the old guys.
Maybe in the basement with creepy Joe Biden. On November 4, it was supposed to get started. I guess you tried to take a crap, but in the end, you just farted. Oh, Antifa. Oh, Antifa.
It seems like he wants to play guitar, but maybe his guitar floated down the river or something.
No, November 4th was the Antifa Super Soldier Day.
There was a hoax that there was going to be mass Antifa rallies or something.
Yeah.
And they got all worked up about it.
We thought you were Megan. In the end, I can't figure out why I was afraid of a vegan.
What does Megan mean?
I don't know. Probably goes through a lot of banjo strings.
Make America great again.
So that's just like the opener. Here's the fucking...
Oh my god, here's a comment. Which is a real comment, I think.
Okay.
When you hear banjo music in a van down by the river, Antifa runs. Antifa does not have the courage to meet real men out on the battlefield. So someone heard him playing this.
He plays us like a big chessboard, ruling with his zombie horde, funding his assistant Hillary. George Soros is a vampire, but I can't prove it. Can't you see? Take it from me. In a galaxy so far away, a long time ago, the ancients say he ruled an evil empire secretly. Vader was his closest friend, the Death Star was the evil end.
I love this pivot in this song, man.
He's also Darth Vader.
George Soros is a vampire. George Soros is a Sith Lord. Can't you see? Oh, can't you see? Or terrorizing in this.
This is such a vibe.
Hailing from an ancient Jedi line.
This is better than the original.
To stop your tyranny. Flanked by his deplorables, he treats arrows out and maims his foes. The media can't stop our victory. George Soros is a vampire, but I can't prove it. Can't you see?
Do you think there was anyone when Y2K happened that said they were scared of us? The computers were just so scared of us they didn't do it?
Calls for your demise, George Soros. Why don't you die
In a video game?
I know that you're a vampire, and that's the reason why George Soros is a vampire.
Antifa is terrified of this. They're down by the river, drinking from the river. I hear this. I start shitting my pants.
Please help me prove it. Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see? Make America great again.
Woo! Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Coffee Talk.
Sage Wanderer.
So today we're talking
He's
about
always wondering
Dogmen.
stuff.
Dun, dun, dun. Now, one could relate this to the werewolf mythology, where a human being cursed with a demonic witchcraft curse turns into a wolf when the moon is full. But I'm talking more particularly about the cryptozoological phenomenon known as Dogmen.
What actually happened was a DJ made this up in 1987 as an April Fool's joke.
Bigfoot stories. Bigfoot stories typically involve
Real?
the Bigfoot being very elusive,
Yeah,
trying
that's
to stay away from you.
Michigan
if they do act
Dogman.
aggressively, they do it from the shadows.
Cool.
They throw rocks.
so he
pine
thinks
cones,
it
sticks,
actually
twigs.
happened.
But
There's a man
they
with a
never-
dog's
they rarely
head,
just
and
charge you like a grizzly
they never
bear
really
or
think
just
about
run at you
how
like
that
a
would
cougar.
work in the environment or how that would have
The
evolved. Or
Dogman is aggressive, and he will come straight at you. And that usually involves people getting the heck out of Dodge. So put it in gear.
It's like something medieval
Belvedere, let's
peasants
get
would
out of
come
your
up
home,
with.
James. Yeah, I'm running from the Dogman, thank you.
There's a wolf that has 8 legs like a spider.
One individual
it's gonna
had
kill
a
you.
truly interesting story. I've never seen really. Well, I saw a Chupacabra, I believe.
Really?
Oh!
The Texas version of a Chupacabra on my ranch in Texas. Or near
Oh, there's
my
a
ranch in
different one.
Texas.
It's like a
Out in rural
Tex-Mex style
Texas by Mineral
Chupacabra.
Wells. And
Yeah.
that story
More of a
can be
Bobby
told
Flay
at-
style
That's another coffee
Chupacabra.
talk on cryptoids, with Chupacabra being in the title, I think.
Cryptoids.
But you know, the Dogmen is a whole different thing. These things are 6 foot tall and muscular and aggressive and toothy. Now, there's
Just
several
like me.
pictures I've seen. You know, take them
Which
with
I'm
a grain of
6'2".
salt. In the world we live in, with Photoshop and doctored video, you really can't trust video anymore. It's not ironclad proof like it was back in the Patterson days. But
Yeah, uncarved black.
lots of stories, lots of very convincing stories. Is this a campfire story, or is there anything to Dogmen? Have you encountered a Dogman?
I have
It
not.
freaked me out because
I'm listening to one right now.
just, well, here's one.
Actually,
reason it might
I've
freak
met
me
a
out.
man
And
with a
here's one
dog
reason why
brain.
maybe I don't need
Yeah,
a whole lot of
part
coffee
man,
to
part
believe
dog.
in the Dogmen. And
The
I'm gonna tell you a
Washington
story now.
Dogman.
He's been spotted in the,
From my
the
history,
Pacific
my life,
Northwest.
my family. And this is the creepiest story that my
It said if you
grandmother
leave
ever
out a
told
stack of
me. And she
McDoubles in the
told me
middle of
some
a
creepy
park.
Stories from the old days.
When the clock strikes midnight, he'll appear.
I have 2 grandmas. One is deceased. I refer
If you
to
say
her
you
as my
can't
Indian
review it
grandma,
until you
although
taste it
in
3
fact,
times.
like Pocahontas, I am in fact not really an Indian at all. We're some kind of Mediterraneans, and that's why my dad was brown. But my Indian grandmother is now passed away. She died at 93.
Oh,
So
weird.
You're not
My,
Indian.
Other
but-
grandma's still alive.
Oh, your
She's
Indian
103
grandmother.
this year, just turned 103. Coffee cups up.
I
to
have 2
grandma.
grandmothers.
But this is my other grandma, the deceased
Most
one, my
people do.
Indian grandma. And DNA test. Wish I had never took it. I preferred being an Indian, I think. But at any rate,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, this is the creepiest story she ever told me. My grandmother was a midwife. And she lived during the Depression and during World War II. She was a young woman and trying to raise a family. She was lucky. Her husband, I guess you could call it lucky because he was a little bit crazy, but she was married to a man who was a World War I vet. She married an older man, and he had a steel plate in his head. So he was not drafted in World War II.
So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 B's for a quarter, you'd say.
Was one of the
This is the most boring story.
Men left behind in World War II that weren't taken were either because they were too old. So she got a call one night. A rider came on horseback in the middle of the night, banging on her door. It was a young man saying that...
A rider came on horseback during World War II?
Was in dire need of her midwife services. So she gathered up her things and got on the
was it World War I?
Mule that the family owned and followed along.
I think he keeps saying World War I and then World War II.
The cabin in the woods.
Not that many people got drafted into World War I.
Whose husband was at war. So
I did.
You know, Grandma probably figured, well, she had an affair. She got secretly pregnant. No one knew this woman was pregnant, but here she was calling for a midwife in the middle of the night. And so she just figured she'd had an affair with somebody that was in the town. That was not uncommon for some of them flat-footed, one-armed men to be going around making the rounds with some of the ladies whose husbands were gone. And so she just figured it was something like that. So she goes out to discreetly...
Is the baby going to be a dog man?
Dark of night.
Did she get knocked up by a dog man?
When she arrives, the woman's in full-blown labor. And she proceeds to
have
deliver...
a dog, man.
Not one baby, but 4 babies. Quads.
Okay.
But these weren't ordinary babies. You see, the woman had been left alone. The woman was lonely. This is adult content here, so I'm going to make you read between the lines so I don't have to spell it out. But there was a large black dog, a large black unneutered male dog living there in the house with her that was her friend, her companion, her protector, while her husband was gone. The man's large...
You could have just said your grandma was a white woman.
Was, there as
Let me roll that back.
That was her friend, her companion, her... Here, so I'm going to make you read between the lines so I don't have to spell it out. But there was a large black dog, a large black unneutered male dog living there in the house with her that was her friend, her companion, her protector, while her husband
So
was
it's
gone.
not actually...
The man's large black hunting dog
cryptid.
Was there as her constant companion. When my grandma delivered the first of the 4 babies, what she saw was bone-chilling and frightening and disgusting.
It was bone chewing. It was a dog.
Was a understatement. More than that, she was offended. She was appalled. She was disgusted.
This grown-ass man really thinks a dog can get a human pregnant.
A half-human.
You can.
Half-dog.
You haven't done it before?
Don't. I told you, it's the creepiest story my grandma ever told me. I couldn't believe it.
Your grandma did not tell you
not
that.
one to lie.
Well, maybe she was just senile.
I once heard
Well,
of,
remember, his grandmother was
heard
half
my
Native
grandmother
American.
say, well, I'm sure where did I hear this? She was there when the story was being told, but this was told about her, that she had told numerous suitors later in life as a widow who was trying to date her, that they wanted to date her, and that, you know, it was the 70s back then, and she should, you know, go out and have sex like everybody else, even though she was just this old widow woman. And she told them, you know, I don't like men enough to go to hell for one. She was very much a Christian who believed in sin and believed that sexual promiscuity was a sin. She believed lying was a sin. I don't know that my grandma ever lied. She may have lied in the past.
I can think of one.
She ever lied as long as I knew her. And she took telling the truth extremely to heart. And there was no such thing as a tall tale or a fish tale with my grandma.
She didn't even know what a lie was.
Fish story, it was true. And I can testify, I was there. The fish was that big, and there were that many of them.
It was a half fish, half man. Because I saw a woman putting fish inside her pussy. And it was in Led Zeppelin's dressing room.
Well, looks like Kevin Smith's at it again. He's made another pointless retcon to the He-Man lore. What was the retcon? He basically decided to make He-Man biracial. How?
Oh
by
no!
making his ancestor,
What's wrong with
King
that?
Grayskull, a black guy. Normally, I would not have a problem with this, but under normal conditions, I'd be apathetic to this and wouldn't give a damn. The problem is, Kevin is pushing a political agenda that at this point in the world of television has gotten fucking stagnant, completely stale, and there is no point in trying. And he's not making any qualms at hiding the fact that he's a racist against
60-year-old
whites.
He's not making any
I've always
qualms.
said racism is a two-way street. And Hollywood is the ultimate definition of hypocritical racism, in the sense that while they may push the minorities to greater heights, it comes at the expense of deriding
This
the
guy sounds like a
the
cartoon
majority.
villain.
And this sort of thing makes me a little sick. Because you're catering too much, it's become to one group of people, it's becoming redundant. There's a reason I call these kinds of people social fascist warriors, SFWs, as opposed to SJWs. Because they're not promoting social justice, they're promoting fascism. In the sense that ethnic diversity makes strength. In my opinion, it does more harm than good in some cases.
I guarantee you it's not a joke.
Oops. Pushing diversity every once in a while is fine. It's when you do it repeatedly that the message becomes
It's when I get uncomfortable is when you have to stop.
And that's what Hollywood, the mainstream media, the corrupt politicians, big tech, that's all they've been doing. Pushing diversity constantly. And it's getting redundant, annoying, and above all, toxic.
This is about Kevin Smith.
Charade.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith has gone woke.
And I'm talking about diversity on all angles. Race, religion, sex orientation.
At least his games are organized.
Nationality.
How about this one?
Oh, Christ. Kinda kind of sad.
That many of the blue check mark brigade believe that with LeBron
the blue
James
chippers
out of the NBA, and I am going off Black and White Sports, his most recent video they've just put up, that with LeBron James not in the NBA playoffs, they believe the NBA playoff ratings would go down. Now keep in mind, the number of NBA games I've watched this season have been very few and far between.
All right.
In this season. That said,
you okay?
Ironically, the ratings through the conference semis have actually been trending upward. This is basically proving a point that I think now I need to address. That if the NBA is to survive, the cancer that is woke ideology, naive realism, needs to be cut away. And I mean it seriously needs to be cut away. And there is a nucleus, at least in the NBA, to this cancer.
Go on.
And it's not what is the nucleus to this cancer is the question, but
the basketball itself.
Who is the nucleus to this cancer? The nucleus to the cancer that plagues the NBA, in my eyes, is LeBron James. His ideology is dangerous. His mantra, toxic.
Mantra.
He's an attention-seeking He's an attention-seeking spotlight hog. And more importantly, he suffers from a victim complex because immediately after the Lakers got eliminated, he went off blaming other factors for the Lakers getting eliminated. Newsflash, LeBron, you got no one to blame but yourself. I may be stepping on some toes, But as far as I'm concerned,
This guy's
LeBron
voice
James
is
is
too
a
much,
player that
man.
makes me sick.
I'm
And
done
it's
Mikey
not
stepping
because of
on
his
the
skin
nose
tone.
here.
It's because of the
LeBron
kind of
James
man
makes me
he
sick.
is. An overgrown, spoiled little man-child.
All I can see in your room is Nintendo DS games.
Who believes all the titles that he should have gotten should have been handed to him on a plate. Like 07 when he got swept by San Antonio.
They got some big old women down there.
He believed it was him and him alone that was carrying the team and never giving his other teammates a chance to shine. It was
Victoria's a secret down there.
And that Cavaliers team was a weak team anyway. And of course they got decimated by the Spurs. And of course LeBron didn't have significant backup. Because he kept throwing the burden onto himself.
He's too busy making Hollywood movies.
Instead of giving equal share to his teammates. 2011, he got cocky against Dallas, and it bit him in the ass. 2014, he blamed the AC unit in the AT&T Center going dead.
He sounds like Gilbert Gottfried, but more annoying.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not there's truth in those rumors, I'm not going to attest to. Picking up on where my mom and I left off about an hour or two ago, I want to further explain why I will not call Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. President-elect 46. If he gets in office, this country will once again be swamped by progressive fundamentalism. If you read God's Chaos Code,
Jesus Christ.
God's Chaos Code. That sounds like some legit literature.
Lance Wallnau's God's Chaos Code.
That looks self-published.
Here it is. The new religion of militant
Chat, you know I had to do it to him.
referred to by scholars as secular fundamentalism, has taken over the Democrat Party. As its summer meeting on
Oh god, he has a video with his mom.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Embracing the values of the religiously
This guy sucks.
Americans and recognize them as the largest religious group within the party.
God's Chaos Code. I gotta look this up, actually.
I'm sure the guy who wrote it has been on the Jim Baker show.
Atheists, humanists, and agnostics.
Lance Wallanu and Mercedes Sparks.
Talk about your religious apartheids. Yep. Apartheid.
Dr. Lance Wallnau on the Jim Baker show, unlocking God's Chaos Code.
Anyway. And explains why the 2020 convention, their 2020 convention, they dropped under God from the Pledge of Allegiance. Yet like a mental virus hatched out of the devil's
It says in his bio, his best-selling book, God's Chaos Candidate, is credited as being the catalyst that mobilized thousands of Christians to vote for Donald Trump and contributed to Trump's unprecedented election victory.
And it's
According to
much more
who?
dangerous than secular fundamentalism. The difference between the two is this. Secular fundamentalist liberals and agnostics like Bill Maher and Sam Harris express open hatred for the simpletons, as they call people like me in the faith community. But
I call you that too.
The faith
progressive
community.
fundamentalists, on the other hand, the very beliefs of the faith community are in their minds an assault on what they
Is that what you have to do when you're
and
Jewish?
therefore they cannot coexist.
Say the faith community, when like people would usually say Christians,
If Biden
like
gets
Christian
into the
Americans.
No, I think it's like a Christian thing.
Is not going to happen.
He's got the menorah behind him.
Then that's the road
Oh, does he?
back down.
Yeah.
We pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
had to suffer through that for
I don't
8
know.
years under Obama.
He could be a
I'm not gonna
convert.
stomach even 4 years with that under Biden or Harris.
They're like one
And
parent's
I'd
Jewish.
say or Harris because let's face it, as soon as he's
Maybe, yeah.
inaugurated, they're going to oust him. Rat him out.
He's been doing this for a long time. Naruto rants.
25th Amendment.
Oh, yes, baby.
WrestleMania, check that off.
Kamala in the Oval
Yep.
Office.
Yeah, I saw a couple of
As
wrestling
47
rants.
As number 47.
Oh, live wrestling too? Weird. I never would have pegged him for a wrestling guy.
In one of the most
This guy's
despicable ways
cool.
to get the first
Good
When it
intro.
comes to the radical left-wing...
Fuck, I want to see that again. He just lets out a little sigh at the
When it
beginning.
comes to the radical left-wing lunatics, both in and out of political power, they believe that they themselves are above the law. And
One of
no
my
one
favorite little wrinkles to
can
his
stop
thing
them.
is like, depending on the rant, he'll either say it's for
But they
17
don't
plus or
realize the
13
harsh
plus.
truth.
So he
Their
like is
principles,
internally
their creed,
giving himself like a
He's got his own rating
censorship
system.
their
rating.
creed
Yeah.
is not an act of permission, it's a warning. Ideals give way too easily to dogma.
I think the dirtiest
Dogma
shit that he ever
evolves.
says is like shit.
In the end, only we ourselves can safeguard against our obsessions. Only we can decide when the path we walk carries too high a
Only
toll.
we can prevent forest fires.
But the radical left believes they are free to pursue their goals.
The
no
radical
matter
left.
The cost, no matter who they have to step over to get what they want. I am the bird of Hermes.
Yes. Playing 3DS and doing the voices.
Oh man.
Wait, who are those guys?
It's down at the bird of Hermes, eating my own wings to keep myself tame. Yeah, I'm only doing Alucard's lines. I haven't done this in about 7
Is that
years.
Netflix? Can you watch Netflix on there now?
I guess.
Maybe you
so?
could before, I forget.
Who knows? So he hasn't done this in 7 years. He's picking it up again. Oh man, back to the old me. Dubbing the Netflix Castlevania series.
They should have asked him to do it.
People are wondering why I've gone on Facebook and
God,
Twitter
his mom's that
and
guy from
are
fucking
probably
Kids in the
gonna
Hall.
Call me out as either a spoilsport or a brat for refusing to call Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. president.
He says Robinette like people said Barack Hussein Obama.
He does.
You have a girl's middle name, dude.
49
Curse Keurig
And
says Dana
Robinette is
Carvey.
Biden's middle name.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Turtly enough for the
here my
Turtle
mom
Club?
Explain why we believe this is going to the courts. Mom, take it away.
Okay. There are enough discrepancies in the states that are being contested to show that there have been
Wow, your mom's a stupid
instances
bitch.
of voter fraud. Ballots
It sounds like
not
she's
being
sort of
counted,
remembering
ballots
something she heard
being
Sean Hannity say
misappropriated to different
2 weeks
parties.
ago.
It's being altered.
So another
And
thing I like about this, so his channel name is
given that this is
Mets2128,
a very
but he always
important
refers to
election
himself as just
and that the
Mets.
future of the country is at stake,
Knowing that there's foul
my
play in this
position
election,
is
Mets asks his mom
that
to come
if
on to
neither
explain why they
candidate
believe
has
things are going to be
anything to
decided
hide,
in the Supreme
then
Courts
a
and why we believe
national
Trump will win.
recount is in order because I think that the country, the citizens deserve to know. I'm not sure what the rules are. I don't know that
The
that's
rules are no.
Seth, let me finish. I'm not sure what the
Oh,
rules
God.
are, and so we don't
Put him in his place.
that should be decided by the court.
That's Seth.
Once we know what the legal balance
So I guess we know his name.
then I believe that there should be a
Yeah, Mets is Seth
every single
backwards.
state. My personal belief is that Biden did not even carry the states that are not being questioned. It just makes no sense that President Trump, who had thousands of people at his rallies,
It makes no sense that the vice president of the guy who won twice would be able to win.
I bet you're wondering, does this guy do food reviews? Well, I've got good news.
Matt.
The answer is yes.
I went back to the hut and got this.
Dude, he lives in a high school.
the Detroit style pizza.
You call it
I
the
got
Hut?
the meaty edition. This is basically a Sicilian style pie. Hang on.
Make yourself comfortable. We can wait.
And you can just edit this bit out.
With 50% more cheese than your run-of-the-mill Sicilian. And the sauce is cooked on the top of the pie as opposed to being inside it. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I've never had Motown-style pizza.
They don't actually call it Motown-style pizza, right?
Not that I've ever heard, dude.
From the wrong side of 8 Mile Road. But let's see how this pans out. God bless and itadakimasu.
From the wrong side of 8 Mile Road. I don't think he's in Detroit. I think he just got the Detroit-style pizza in Pennsylvania.
Pizza Hut did one.
My bite mark.
He's like, this is what Eminem is eating.
This is only going to be around for another month.
This is what Eminem threw up. It wasn't actually his mom's spaghetti.
Are gone
Oh, that was Japanese that he spoke afterwards? That's so cool. I have a feeling about this one.
Just a few minutes ago, I was caught off guard. What happened? One of the greatest players in the history of the NBA, Kobe Bryant, was killed in a chopper crash, along with 4 other people at the age of 41.
In a cop car chopper crash.
Early this morning, 10 a.m. The chopper Kobe was in crashed in Calabasas,
Kobe copper chopper.
Area.
The Kobe copter got into choppy waters.
Their 4 daughters were aboard the chopper.
Kobe's raffle chopper.
Why him? Why did someone like him have to be taken from us? I thought we were done with these kinds of tragedies in the sports world.
I thought we were done with helicopters crashing.
I thought the last guy died.
Jose Fernandez.
And now another guy died?
I thought we were done with this sort of crap.
Kind of keeps going back to this point, eh?
I guess not.
Kobe, you weren't one of my idols. I'll give you that. I mean, I'll say that much to you. But however grudgingly, you were one of the greatest in the history of the NBA.
I'll give you this. I didn't like you very much.
To that regard.
Look, you have certain racial characteristics that me and my mom have certain opinions about.
That's all I gotta say. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Goodbye. Good night. Bang.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good place to.
Man.
Oh
that
my
guy's
God.
Cool. What?
I can't stop. Just look at this fucking one, dude.
I can't stop.
That was such a poetic ending, but
our
recently
wedding
I've come under a little fire. For what? My beliefs. And my opinion.
Those are women's glasses. Like straight up women's glasses.
But not here on YouTube, but on Facebook. What was my opinion? What am I getting put under fire for? Anyone who watched the most recent episode of the PBS show Arthur, based on the on the kids' books written by Mark P. Brown, would know that the most recent episode showed
E.P. Brown? You should go to the doctor.
Mr. Nigel Ratburn getting a gay wedding.
Of course I haven't watched the new episode of Arthur. What are you talking about?
Now, I haven't watched an episode
nobody's
of Arthur
watching it. It's just a cultural
in almost
thing.
20 years.
Then why do you give a shit?
In practically 20 years. Oh, sure, I'd pass by some of the reruns time to time during puberty, but I just skipped them. Skipped the show altogether. My heyday for PBS was the early to late 90s. During the eras of shows like the Carmen Sandiego game shows and Wishbone, when there was programming geared more towards preteen to early teenager crowds.
Wasn't Arthur always woke?
I forget.
Like, I think it was always pretty woke. Theme song was reggae, and they had like, there's that one family who was poor and like.
I'm 31. I was born in
Steven
87.
Crowder was on it.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I think Buster's mom was gay or something.
Geography and history at a relatively early age, too young to be on either of the game shows. Well, too young to be on World, and by the time I was old enough to be on Time, it was a bit...
Is he 31?
Bit too late to even try and register for the show.
Damn, we're the same age.
Especially when the latter series only lasted 2 seasons.
Oh, did he say born 87?
But back to the matter at hand. What's my problem with it? I mean, now you could say, but Mets. TV shows have been, and movies have been pushing gay marriage.
Oh, did he say 31? Okay, this is from 2 years ago.
True. I mean, that's true. But here's my problem with it being pushed in Arthur.
They're not pushing it. They're just describing a phenomenon that exists.
This is a kid's show. And pushing this on the kids...
One of the fucking Muppets on Sesame Street had AIDS in, like, 1999.
From my ballpark estimates.
Right?
4 to 11.
Yeah, Elmo.
Of ages 4 to 11.
Killed him off.
Smells of... reeks of indoctrination.
Sesame Street... Or it was probably HIV, if not AIDS.
By the
That was full-blown AIDS.
It's from 2002.
Which is why my nephews don't even watch a lot.
They had Tom Hanks come on and do his character from Philadelphia.
And what they do watch is mostly movies, sitcoms.
5-year-old HIV-positive girl Muppet
sitcoms.
orphaned by AIDS who always has the sniffles.
And the fact that Arthur and his friends shrug off Ratburn's homosexuality.
South African Sesame Street. I just remember seeing it on the news back then.
Like, it's normal. Just rubs me the wrong way.
It is normal.
It's not normal to be 31 and still live with your mom, but you're doing it.
We're trying to push this onto our children, onto the next generation
We're not
as a norm.
pushing anything.
I'm sorry, but...
You're supposed to be making the next generation, you dumbass.
This is crossing a line that should not be crossed. More so in this show because I get it. It's an episodic TV show that doesn't have an overarching plot with it. Whose stories are not all that well interconnected. The only
stupid piece of shit.
Heck, the only time I remember many of the stories being truly interconnected was when Buster spent a few months with his father.
When Buster met up with Tony Yayo.
That's when Buster was spent
in a wheelbarrow.
Was sent to spend some time with his dad.
Yep.
It was how we got the spin-off show in the early 2000s, Postcards from Buster. I only watched a couple episodes of that, for those wondering.
Postcards from Buster?
And only a couple.
I remember that. I don't think I ever saw it.
But getting back to my point.
What she sees.
I can't believe I'm going to be blasting the public broadcasting.
Is that the Bible?
System networks.
It looks like it.
Let's see. Nope. Too far ahead.
What the fuck is happening, bro?
Here it is. Matthew 10:42, the words of Christ. And if you give even a cup of cold water to at least one of my followers, even especially the children, you will surely be rewarded.
This is a great shot composition.
But in my opinion, you're not giving PBS. They're not giving these kids a cold cup of water. No, they're giving them poison. So by spraying this drip, by forcing this.
Ew, what is he pulling on? Is that a piece of skin?
Seems too rubbery.
By having this crap on a kids show.
I think it's that stuff that's on like a credit card, junk mail.
To promote diversity, my ass. I'm all good and fine with.
You're trying to put diversity up my ass.
You wanted me. And that's all fine and dandy, but not when you're trying to push homosexuality as diversity on little kids.
All right, enough's enough. I'm challenging this guy to a charity boxing
If you
match.
wait till they hit puberty or so, then yeah, that'd
I'll
be fine,
donate
but
all
not
my,
on a kids program.
all my winnings to.
But you don't do it to tots.
PBS.
I mean, tots and
to-
elementary school
I was gonna say the
students.
Sinking Derangements Patreon, but probably
But
Trans
this is the
Lifeline.
this is the poison that spreads when we live in a politically correct culture.
All right, good night,
Everyone
everybody.
has to be careful.
Thanks for watching.
We're all walking
This is
along
like Judge Joe
eggshells
Brown.
nowadays.